All right. Could you please find the partner you were working with a moment ago? And we'll just do a quick little process that might be informative before we go into the ATM. So find the person you were working with before. Find the partner you were working with before. And can I work with you, Pat? Okay. So, Pat, could you sit in that asymmetrical position, but the other way around now, so with the left foot in front and the right foot behind. Okay. Okay. And could you put both of your hands on this piece of foam? Good. Now, your job is to just simply follow me wherever I take you. Okay? And I won't take you anywhere outlandish. Okay. So what you can be doing, Patrick, is just noticing the movement of your pelvis. How it just keeps moving around and around and around, yes. And I mean, it's so light, yeah? You can feel him following. And there's no pressure, there's no heaviness in the hands. It feels really nice. What does it feel like for you?
I got a bad
Thanks, Patrick. What a compliment, so early in the piece. Very good. So now, what about this movement here? Here, and then here, and then here. You're not bad yourself. Okay, so just play like that with your partner a little bit, but you don't have to take them into a judo roll. Yeah, but the task is simple. Just simply follow. And keep tracking where your pelvis moves, keep tracking where your pelvis moves, and then just go wherever you feel you can go. And the person won't take you where you can't, because they'll feel that you can't. It's that easy. Oh, you missing somebody? Yeah, so now the left leg is in front and the right leg is behind. No. The other way around. Yeah, so the left leg is in front and the right leg is behind. Ah, hello. Just keep going. So what I didn't describe as I was moving with Patrick is where I was looking, and that is, I was looking, how much can Patrick fold his chest, and when does he stay long, and when does he concertina together? And as you're moving your partner, you could ask yourself the same questions. Could I take them somewhere where they could actually start to fold up a little bit? Could I take them somewhere where they can get long in their torso? See, I told you don't have to sit in that position. Notice what you spontaneously did with that leg. How you just sent it backward. That's good. Good. And as long as you're playing around with this, with that attitude, yes, of just playing, you'll start to feel that your partner frees up, you'll free up. So sometimes fast, sometimes slow. Sometimes conniving, sometimes not. Yeah. Great. All right, and please switch roles. So now only one of you has to sit in that asymmetric position. And the left leg is in front, and the right leg is behind. Remember, if you need something under your pelvis, put it under your pelvis. If I forget, tomorrow someone remind me to tell you the story about a whole lesson that I did with this with a lady using a balloon. So you're feeling for where can the person go easily, but then you're also trying to help them find this relationship between folding, 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 and lengthening, 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 and folding, 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 and shifting weight. So what I didn't tell you is this, you're actually practicing pacing. This is what it's like to pace. For those of you with your hands on the blue mat, you're actually pacing the other person. The freer you are in your pelvis and in your torso to bend and extend, the better you are at pacing. Okay, and please leave that, say goodbye to your partner until tomorrow, and lie on your back, please. And as you're lying there, notice the after effects of doing what you've just done. Those after effects can be quite varied, not always pleasant. Can you still feel the responsiveness in yourself from being led around everywhere? Can you still have sort of this lingering memory somewhere in your bones, somewhere in your muscles, of being fluid and able to move around? So please, come up to sit, and sit with the left leg in front and the right leg behind. And in this position of the legs, start to introduce your right arm behind your head, take hold of the left side of your face, and take the hand out again, and find out how can you make that feel easy, pleasant to do when you're sitting in this way. And remember, you can always put something under your pelvis, make yourself comfortable. Yeah.
Just in regards to putting something under your pelvis, with this position, should I be able to feel both sit bones in contact with something? Like, is that ideal?
In an ideal skeleton, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've never felt it. So that's why if that other side is too uncomfortable, put something underneath. You can always take it out later when we get to other parts of the lesson. Yeah. And sometimes just the use of that prop can free up something, which then you don't need the prop anymore. So place that right arm around, and then place your left hand on the floor and start to bring your right elbow towards the floor, somewhere in front of your left knee. And then come back up. And really, really find out for yourself where on the floor is that left hand the most help. So if you put the left hand too far around to the right, then you can't put the elbow in front of the left knee. So the left hand must go somewhere where you can take that right elbow and put it around somewhere on the floor in front of your left knee. And note, where does your weight shift over your buttock or buttocks? Now the next time that your elbow is directed towards the floor, stay there, the lowest you can do comfortably. And now move the elbow a little bit more forward, away from yourself, and then bring it back. And forward and away from yourself, and bring it back. And something happens in your trunk when you take the elbow away from yourself. Can you feel what happens? Can you feel how the trunk starts to elongate from being round to being longer? And then as you bring the elbow back, it folds again. Such a primary movement of the human trunk, folding and unfolding. And now leave the elbow somewhere, neither forward nor back. And take the elbow a little bit around to the left, return to the middle or wherever you started from, and then a little bit around to the right. So this would be nice on the beach because you'd be drawing lines in the sand. And now, with the tip of the elbow, draw a little circle on the floor. And if you were at the beach, you'd be drawing little circles in the sand. And then make the circle smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until you stop at a certain place. And then from that place, imagine someone gently holding your elbow, taking you forwards and then slightly upwards, and then bringing you back in the same trajectory as you went. Forwards and upwards, and then returning. As you go forwards and upwards like this, feel how the muscles of your back start to work more. This is a movement of your arm and your head in your back. Just continue for a little bit longer, and as you go forwards and upwards with the head, think that you want to face the bottom of your bottom backwards. I'll say that again. The bottom of your bottom backwards as you take your head forwards and up. I'm trying to be polite. Your anus, you know your anus? Stick it backwards. Why did I have to say that in an American accent? Who knows? That's it. In other words, you're arching your back. And now go forward and upwards slowly and return fast. Forward and upwards slowly and return fast. And then do it at any speed you like. Good. Leave that and rest on your back, please. So when I make that mistake before with the timing, it's actually a perfect example of me being too preoccupied with my own internal sense and losing any connection with what time we're finishing. That's how that mistake happened. So this connection between sensing yourself in relationship to the world around you, as well as in relationship to your own intentions, it's a really important relationship. And that's why, when you listen to Moshe Feldenkrais teach, he never shuts up. Because his point of view is, if you're listening to him and paying attention to yourself, your attention is can be in both places. You're becoming much more able to operate in the world out there, because the world out there is not silent. And that's where you need to operate. So this talking in the background is not to distract you, but to actually help you train your attention to be able to operate in a real world, in real environments, not just the cloister of an awareness through movement class. But he can get annoying. All right, please come up to sit again. Same leg in front, left leg in front, right leg behind. Place your right hand around the back of your head. And now bring your right elbow close to the floor. And start to tinker, play around with this idea of taking yourself further around to the left, as if you wanted to lie on your left side. And then come back. Now, we all have different temperaments. Some of us like to get on with it and get it done. Good. Get on with it, get it done, and then fill in the details. Others like to fill in all the details and end up there. Well, sometime over the next week or 2 weeks, you might want to do the opposite. All good, different ways of learning, so long as you fill in the details, so long as you're not habitual in your learning. So now, to get onto that left side, please remember that your legs don't have to stay in the same configuration. They just have to come back to that configuration when you return to the front. That's all. So figure out, what do you do with your legs to go onto that left side? Nice. You might as well continue and lie on your back. Where's the front of the room? Oh. So a nice rule of thumb to operate with is, as long as you can remain clear in your intention, please continue. And when you start to get a little bit lost and you don't know what you're doing anymore, stop, come back. When you start to lose where you are in space, come back. When the rest of your body disappears because you're just focusing on your elbow, come back. So sometimes pay attention to the details, and sometimes pay attention to the all of your body moving. Good. And lie on your back and rest, please. So when I'm making all these suggestions, don't feel like you have to master them all as soon as I say them. I'm throwing them out there because one suggestion might help one person, another suggestion might help another person. One way of looking at things might help you, another way of looking at things might help the person next to you. And that's what makes awareness through movement so much more different to one-on-one lessons. Because when you're one-on-one with a person, you can begin to feel what suits them the best at that time. But when you're with a group, you're not quite sure. So you say a little bit of this and a little bit of that. You throw out little clues. And they land on different people in different ways. Come up to sitting again, please. Sit so that you know that that's the front of the room. And have your left leg in front, just like you've been doing. Have your right arm around, hold the left side of your face. And bring your right elbow to the floor somewhere in front and begin to make your way around to the left, with the intention of eventually lying on your back, with your soles of your feet facing the front of the room. And if you need to walk around with that right hand, walk around with the right hand. And then come back. And if you get stuck, excellent. Because if you could do it, you wouldn't have to do this lesson. So that means there's something to learn, there's something to find out. So being stuck, making a mistake is a good thing. You can refine what it is that you're doing. And the process of refinement is just sensing more and more smaller mistakes. Yeah? Little things that you didn't even know you were doing before, but suddenly they become obvious to you. And then you start to change those. So there's no limit to improving until you're satisfied. When you're satisfied, well, that's it. So just go back and forth, meander. And if you want to use momentum, in other words, if you don't have any anticipation of really quickly moving yourself to sitting, by all means, use momentum. But if that's the only way that you can get up there, that's a limitation. Use it for now. So now please continue, and at no point come up to upright. Always stay low. So when you come to the front, stay with the elbow low. And find out, how can you fold and unfold through the middle of yourself? There's a moment that you'll have to unfold. That's arriving onto your back. And then there's a moment that you'll have to be folded. That's coming to sitting. And if it helps, remember that activity that you just did a moment ago with your partner and those little blocks of foam, and how freely you move. Recall the freedom with which you're able to move. Look for that. Look for that feeling of freedom. Oh, plonking. Oh, plonking. Plonking means gravity wins. Yeah? So over time, become the master of gravity and not gravity the master of you. So that over time, you don't have to plonk anymore. You don't have to fall. You can control your rate of descent. Good. Please stop and rest again. Please roll to one side, come up to sit with the left leg in front. Know that that wall is your front. And place your right arm around your head like you've been doing. And go all the way around to your left until you're lying on your back. And if you can't get there yet, just do what you can. It's fine. And now from here, how would you keep going around in the same direction so that you end up rolling around to the right and coming up to sit with the other leg at the back? Oh, where's front? And now return the direction you came, go round to the right, end up on your back, and then go round to the left until you come up to sit. Yeah. Yeah, so the right arm is around your head, you go round to the left, around to the left. Oh, you're going around to the right now. Okay, so you go around to the right. Oh, you can just do the top half of the circle. That's good. Yeah. So do the part of the circle that you feel you can do at the moment. And you can go backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards, and that's good. That's good. That's actually a typical Feldenkrais trick. You go backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards until the whole thing completes itself. So rather than trying to push through any one part of the complete thing, you kind of nudge around the edges. You approach it from one side, and then you go back around, and then you approach it from the other side, and eventually everything's completed. So you're always returning to the front. So remember to use your left arm to help. Now, whether that's sweeping the arm around yourself on the floor or whether that's walking around with the left arm, use the left arm to assist.